In today's episode, I'm going to show you a seed starting method that is so simple. You don't need a grow light, you don't need a grow room, heck, you don't even need a greenhouse. All you need is some containers, some soil, and a little bit of time. Let's go. This method is known as winter sowing. Now, this method is so awesome because all you really need is some pre-moistened potting mix, some empty gallon jugs, and seeds. It is very simple. Now, the whole idea behind winter sowing is basically letting nature essentially germinate seeds when they're ready to sprout. You see, if you had your garden and you let everything go to seed, you let your tomatoes just ripen on the vine, never harvest them and fall to the ground, or you let a pepper grow or some lettuce go to seed, all those seeds would be scattered on the soil surface. And then what would happen is winter would come, it would blanket the earth, blanket the ground with snow, and the seeds would lie there dormant. Well, they wouldn't germinate when the snow was still on the ground, when the temperatures were still below freezing. What they would do is they would wait for the temperatures to rise to an optimal level for germination. And that's the whole idea behind winter sowing. It's a very hands-free approach to basically letting seeds germinate when they are ready to germinate. And so it requires no grow room, no greenhouse, no grow lights. You don't even have to have any seed starting experience at all, because what we're essentially doing is letting nature decide the optimum time. It is totally incredible. I absolutely love it. I talk about it every year, but every single year around this time, late December into January, no later than probably like early February, there's about a 2.5 month window that is ideal, at least for where we're at here in Michigan, for winter sowing. It is so simple, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're going to start some seeds today. I've got some asparagus that we're starting. I'll explain why in a second. Some parsnips. Again, I'll explain why in a second. And I got some brassicas. I got cabbage and broccoli. These are like my 4 main go-to crops for winter sowing, but there's a whole bunch more that we're also going to talk about as we get into this that you can also winter sow. You can basically winter sow literally anything. Now, to start, we're going to talk about the soil. It's very important that we have a really good, loose, well-draining soil mixture. You don't want this holding onto a lot of water because it's going to be sitting outside and you are going to pre-moisten it. You don't want the seeds sitting in a swamp, otherwise they will for sure rot and you'll have problems. We'll have very little germination. So you want to start with just a really good quality growing medium. This is just a mixture of some cocoa husk fiber, a little bit of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, vermiculite, and then just a little bit of compost. And that's the other really great thing behind this right here is that you can actually use compost or soil. Like you could use worm castings if you wanted to add a little bit of nutrients to your soil, because in a grow room, a lot of times we recommend going soilless. The reason why we want to go soilless is because we don't want to encourage the presence of fungus gnats or mold or mildew spores. You want things very sterile in a grow room because in a very kind of climate controlled, sterile environment, pests and predators can run rampant with no predator-prey balance. So in the case of being outside, fungus gnats, they're already outside. And if you do have a little bit of compost added into your mix, it can not only cut the cost of your seed starting equipment, but it also is very little harm outside. So we are going to pre-moisten it. It's very important you pre-moisten your mix because this is going to be sitting outside in these containers and you don't want it to be bone dry, otherwise your seeds will not germinate. So what we're going to do is we're going to pre-moisten our mix about to the point where we can squeeze some water out of it. You want to be able to squeeze some water because the excess water is going to drain out of drainage holes we're going to put in the bottom of the container. It's probably good right there. Perfect. All right. So I like a pretty good amount of moisture. Like I said, you don't want it swampy, but that's what drainage holes are for, because any excess water over time is going to drain out of this mix. It's actually a very loose, friable mix, which is another term for loose and fluffy. So you want it loose, you want it well draining, and then we're going to prep our containers. Super simple to prep these. All you're going to do is take some sharp scissors or like a hot nail or something like that, and just poke some holes in the bottom of your container. That's going to be for drainage. So important you do that because otherwise you're going to have, like I said, swampy soil, and that's going to rot your seedlings out. So put a good amount of holes in there for drainage. Don't need to be too concerned with quantity. Just get some holes in there. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut about halfway up the container, all the way around, except for a tiny little bit right near the handle on like a milk jug. It'll be right where the handle meets, and that's going to be a hinge. Go just like that. So see that right there? We got ourselves a hinge. That way, we essentially create a vessel to hold our soil. This is our container to put our soil. And then we've got a greenhouse top, which is going to hold on to that moisture, the humidity. It's also going to trap the heat as it warms up. It's very important. Anyone that winter sows will tell you, keep the cap off. Take the cap off. That will allow water to get in. It will also allow for oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. So there's actually airflow inside of the container. So leave the cap off, whether you're using like a 2-liter pop can or pop bottle, or you're using a milk jug or something like this. Cap off, hinge the top. Just allows for really easy opening in the springtime. And then a lot of people will recommend after you put your seeds to just put a small little layer of tape to kind of hold it all in place so it's not blowing around. Totally optional. In my opinion, I've done it without, and I've had results. So that is it. I'm gonna prep the rest of these other 3 here. We're gonna get our seeds started. All right, so now that we got our containers prepped, our soil's in the containers, it's pre-moistened, holes are in the bottom, we are ready to rock. So we're gonna put our seeds in now. And this kind of always brings up a question of which seeds are best for winter sowing, or why do you start some seeds and not others? That really comes down to personal preference, as I'll talk about in a second. I have a grow room, I have grow lights, I have heat mats. I personally like the hands-on activity of starting some seeds. And because I have that equipment, I don't need to start all my seeds via winter sowing. I also live in Michigan, and Michigan has a notoriously short growing season compared to the rest of the United States. We're looking at 160, maybe 180 days of growing season. And so if I have a tomato that takes 85 to 100 days to mature, I've only got about 70, 75 days on a very normal growing season when I'm going to be getting fruit from that plant. That is not a very long growing season when, in comparison to if I was to start that tomato indoors in my grow room under grow lights. I could not only enjoy the colder months, I could enjoy the hands-on activity of starting seeds, but I could also get a head start, basically moving that seedling into the ground 8-10 inches tall at the same time when nature would have chosen to maybe just start waking up, just start germinating in late April, early May. Because again, that is one of the downsides with winter sowing, is with any really great thing, there can also be some downsides. This is a very hands-off method, but we're letting nature choose the ideal germination time. And that is not always, that's not always gonna be ideal for you in your growing season. For certain crops, it's great. For other crops, it might not be. That's really what comes down to personal preference. But absolutely every single crop that you wanna choose can be winter sown. So we're gonna go through why I chose these 4. I do also winter sow other seeds as well, and I probably will be winter sowing even more. But my big 4 are brassicas, root crops like carrots, parsnips, but also perennials. Why perennials? So we're gonna talk about perennials first because I think perennials are the largest benefit to winter sowing of them all. Perennials, they require what's called cold stratification. These seeds from the asparagus plant, usually if you were gonna start them indoors, you'd have to put them on a damp paper towel, put that damp paper towel into the fridge for like 3 to 5 weeks. And then you take it out after that period in the fridge. You then put those seeds into soil and let them germinate. Because what are you doing? You're simulating winter weather, because those seeds need to go through cold stratification to basically get them to germinate. So we are going to sprinkle some seeds on the surface there for some of our asparagus. And since we are setting these seeds out over winter, our perennials are essentially getting that cold stratification without having to do anything. It is such a great way to get your seeds to germinate at a high level, a high rate of germination without having to do anything extra. Perennials are my #1 favorite seed to winter sow. It's just because of that cold stratification. Second favorite seed that I love to grow are my root crops. Parsnips, carrots, radishes, any root crop like that does so well winter sown. But my all-time favorite to winter sow are parsnips. Now, parsnips are notorious for having a very, very long growing season, 110 to 150 days, depending on how long you leave them in the soil. Typically, you leave them in the soil until after your first killing frost. So for us, if we started them in mid-April, we are not harvesting them till early to mid-October. It is absolutely insane how long the growing season is, but it could definitely be worth it. The benefit to winter sowing them is you get better germination. Parsnips are notoriously bad with germinating. They have very low germination rate because they require cold, damp soil, believe it or not, to start the germination process. And what do you have here? You have cold, damp soil. So we like to throw them in, sprinkle them in, just like that. And we'll get to seed spacing in a second, because that question always comes up. Put them right on the surface. I'm going to cover them up. I'm just going to press them in, just like that. And we're going to put a little bit of soil over top, just like that. And those are ready to go as well. And then my third and final favorite crop to winter sow. Winter sowing is great. That's an awesome method. If I haven't said that enough already, are brassicas. Now, why brassicas? It's because brassicas are very, at least here in Michigan, they're very sensitive to temperature fluctuations. And so if I start my seeds indoors, if I start my cabbage, if I start my broccoli, my cauliflower, if I start them indoors, what happens is they're growing indoors in 70 degrees. I take them outside, even if I harden them off, which is the process of acclimating them from a different temperature or a different environment to another temperature or a different environment, right? But going between environments causes shock. And that shock is generally around temperature. And if I go from 70 degrees down to 50 degrees and then back up to 70 or back up to 80, that stress can oftentimes cause them to go to seed or bolt. And when I start them in winter sowing, it takes a lot of the guesswork out because they germinate when they are ready and they're growing in a very consistent warming pattern without any huge shocks to their system. And that can cause far better results for early sown cabbages, broccoli, and cauliflower. I absolutely love this. All my cabbages, all my broccoli, I have started winter sowing. I will start some cabbages indoors because cabbage are a lot more resilient, but broccoli, any spring broccoli at all, any spring broccoli, winter sown. Winter sown, or I just don't even do it. At this point, I've learned from my ways. Once you got your containers filled with soil, filled with seeds, the lids are back on, and you're ready to go, the question always arises, what do I do next? And this is where it gets simple. This is why I absolutely love winter sowing, because the whole point is you sow the seeds during winter. So you want to put the seeds, you want to put the containers outside somewhere where they can be exposed to winter weather. Doesn't matter how cold it gets, doesn't matter how much snow it gets, just leave them outside. We're going to set them right in this little snow drift right here on the outside of the greenhouse, and we're going to leave them till spring. It's that simple. You'll probably notice when I was putting seeds into the container, I wasn't really caring about spacing all that much. That does bring about probably one of the biggest and most common questions, which is, how should I space my seeds when I'm putting them in this container? Because when we do use a seed starting tray like this, we're usually putting 1 or 2 seeds per cell, and that's a very visible way to actually space out our seeds so that we don't have overcrowding. But in a container like this, it's not very practical to only put 2 or 3 seeds in here. I mean, you can, but it would be a very large waste of space. What we're essentially doing is we're growing them in mass. We're multi-sowing in a container. And then what we're doing is we're essentially taking, because the soil is right up close, this is why we put soil so high up here. We put the soil right up near the top, because what it's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us in the spring to essentially work our fingers through, dump this whole mass out, or simply take a spoon and scoop the seedlings out. You'll damage some roots, and that's to be expected. But when they're young and they're still in their seedling seedling phase and they're growing very quickly, roots repair so fast. Any damage caused from broken roots or damaged roots typically is typically healed really quickly. And so that's why I don't really worry about seed spacing, because I know that as they start to germinate, once they get 2 or 3 sets of adult leaves, I'm going to be scooping them out and removing them from the cluster of seedlings that are in this container. I want to leave this lid on as long as possible because it acts as a greenhouse. It actually will allow for the seeds to warm up faster. It'll allow for that extra humidity to aid with germination, but also with the cap off, allows excess humidity to leave. It just is a really great way to germinate seeds. Like I said, if you don't have seed starting equipment, or if you feel overwhelmed by starting seeds indoors, I cannot think of a simpler way to start seeds. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I really hope you all learned something new. And like I said, start any seeds you want. Don't follow my 4 just because they're my 4. I'm probably going to start some flowers this way. I'm going to start some other perennials this way. So like I said, perennials are great. There's tons of perennials. Lavender is phenomenal. Sage, rosemary. I love winter sowing my perennials. So I'm going to be starting a lot more as well over the coming weeks. But find seeds that you like. Try this method. And let me know in the comments box down below if you have ever tried this method, what you found from it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Let me know. I'd love to hear the discussion in the comments box. So as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. Grow bigger. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care. Bye.